everyone, Adam and Andrew here with It Takes Two Takes. Literally, this is our second take. I thought I was recording for the past 10, 15 minutes, and I wasn't. So this will be the best review you could have possibly had. Or maybe not. No, release the It Takes Two Takes cut for the review of Mortal Kombat. Adam, Mortal Kombat 2021, the 95 film, I watched on VHS. That's probably the last time I watched it. Multiple times.
I saw it in the theater. I actually did see that one in the theater.
Aging yourself, and that's, I feel like that's working against you, but no. It's actually pretty cool that you got to see it in theaters, because I would not have been allowed to, but I did see it on VHS.
I was an adult already, so I couldn't have been, it was perfectly fine for me to go see it.
That's why I'm jealous of you. You get vaccines before I do. You get to go see Mortal Kombat in theaters. You get to see Star Wars in theaters. The original trilogy is what I'm talking about. Okay. I know the video games. I know the original video game. Arcade, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. I know that. Mortal Kombat 2. I dabbled in some of the modern stuff, but okay, fine. We don't want my life story. I want what I saw in those video games. And this film delivered. Does it make it a good film? We'll talk about that. But I will say that I had a blast watching this from my recollection of some great moments in the video game. That's all I wanted. And it gave me that. Adam, I don't know what you thought about this. I do, actually. It's our second take.
The original one, the fighting was really subpar. It seemed like they were going for more, actor name recognition than they were trying to pull it off well. The special effects at the time were also nowhere close to what they are now.
I'm editing this. I'll throw up a clip. You'll see. If you didn't see that movie, there's some... it's something.
Yeah, but the first 15 minutes of the movie really drew me in. They did the backstory, basically, of who was eventually going to be Scorpion. I love that actor. I saw him, in Last Samurai. I saw him in The Wolverine, and I've always liked him in the roles that he has done. And then when Sub-Zero shows up, I recognize him from Warrior. I'm like, oh, now I'm even more excited. Scorpion and Sub-Zero are two of the most recognizable characters from this franchise. You pop up pictures of them and you go, oh, that's Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Some of the other characters you may or may not recognize, depending on how faithful you are to the video games and everything. One of the things when Mortal Kombat came out, there was a lot of outrage by parents because of how bloody and violent it was. I remember that controversy. It made kids want to play that game even more because parents were going, kids shouldn't play this game. Really?
Yeah.
Well, now I want to play it.
Oh, yes. Not only has Mortal Kombat not gotten really the true justice it deserves as a property, but video game movies in general obviously have a very, very bad history in terms of quality films. So
twice this week, two different people, when I've mentioned the Mortal Kombat movie, both times somebody asked, is Jean-Claude Van Damme in this one? I'm like, that was Street Fighter. Oh.
I wanted moments from the game. I got that. We've already... Okay, good. I got the bare minimum. Now, what do we have left? We had some good performances. You mentioned especially the first 15 to 30 minutes of the film in general. Like, I really enjoyed. I love the setup of the lore. I mean, even if you think about it, Scorpion using his blades right then and there, not only are we going back to Japan and we're going back centuries, right? But him even just using his blades that don't have mouths and aren't like, you know what I mean? Like they're actual blades. I was like, ooh, like I'm not saying we need a realistic Mortal Kombat.
If I remember correctly, the 90s, Scorpion kind of held out his hand, hand opened up and a mouth came out that, right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that this time.
The little things. Glad. No, but you have a no-name director, literally has not directed anything else. I mean, maybe a short in college, I don't know. You have some recognizable faces in the film, but certainly not someone that's going to sell, or you're going to throw up on a billboard and everyone's going to see that because of this person, which is really cool. I appreciate that anytime it's done.
Most of the advertisements I saw for this were Scorpion and Sub-Zero in costume.
They're the ones that sell it. It doesn't matter who plays them. John Cena's Scorpion and The Rock is Sub-Zero, okay. But look, they didn't need that. And honestly, those two actors that we mentioned that played Sub-Zero and Scorpion were the better performances and were the most engaging and appealing presence of the film.
I think they've got the most... They've done so much, I think, martial arts type movies that when they're fighting, it ups the level quite a bit. And I think that was one of the great things was when you saw them fighting in that final battle against each other, it just upped the ante because they they're really good at what they do. I guess to bring up a point that you brought up in our non-recorded version of this video, Kano.
Kano was fantastic. I looked at the guy up. He's been in a million things, and none of which I've seen. It's like every CSI or Law and Order you've ever heard of, the guy's been in. But this guy just chewed up every scene he was in, and I loved him.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, they started off in the first Mortal Kombat making Kano a villain in the first one to begin with, and this time around, it was more of a turncoat than anything, right? Which I think worked out, well for the series to kind of do it that way.
Yeah, that sort of mercenary, that sort of I am beholden to no one. He even says, I don't answer really to anybody. And he just goes where the money is in this case, or goes where any of the motivation is. And it worked. There was no questioning that character. It made sense. I can't say the same for Cole Young. He was probably my least favorite character. Look, as the purpose on paper in the script, I can appreciate that. I'm not saying they should not have had a Cole Young. I'm just saying that Cole Young, I just wasn't a huge fan of. He had
they certainly telegraphed very early on that his motivation for getting his special ability was going to be his family. I mean, it felt like that was kind of almost beaten over our head a little bit.
Which, by the way, it took me a while to realize that was even his actual. When you say family, I thought that like the girl was his sister and the woman was his mom. I don't know if you thought that too at first.
In the beginning, I was unsure the relationship of the little girl and him. I admit there was part of me that thought that could be a sibling.
I was like, what's this dude, 24 or what's going on? Like, why is his daughter like
and this whole like I'm a washed up fighter and doing cage matches and I lose. Yeah, I do these cage fights for $200 and I lose every time. It just this motivation early on was very weak in my opinion.
I think someone could have read the same exact script of the character of Cole Young and it would have come out better. And look, it wasn't terrible. It didn't ruin the movie. I appreciated the character that they made someone new because again, they're the kind of channeling what the audience is seeing and they're learning the whole world around them. I get it. But that was my only one thing where if you want me to invest in the character I'm supposed to relate to, like make them more relatable, make them more engaging and charismatic, something. And I didn't care for him as much. Maybe that'll change. I'm pretty sure he signed on if they bring on a sequel. So we'll see. We got I feel like enough positives to warrant that we would love another one to see where it would go. And I hope it would improve upon what we just saw.
Some of the deaths were great.
Oh,
like
the moment where Sub-Zero turned gushing blood into a dagger and used it may have been my top moment of the entire film. Right. That was incredible. That's the stuff I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Mortal Kombat. That's what I want. And you did it. So thank you.
The person being sawed in half, and we get afterwards the line of flawless victory.
Right.
That was fantastic, right?
It was great.
Some of the gore in it was exactly what I would expect from a Mortal Kombat movie, and I absolutely was not disappointed.
Yeah, the fatalities, even the actual moves that they had, right? Like you had the bicycle kick.
I was a little disappointed the person who saws someone in half though dies 3 minutes later just by having their soul sucked out. That I will admit, if I'm gonna nitpick, that was a little anticlimactic to me. Like if you were gonna take someone's soul, take someone who got their ass beat, you know.
Yeah, and Kung Lao is a pretty important character for him to go like that. I don't know. Mortal Kombat fans, I'm curious to see what they think. The ones that are really, really into these characters and know these games left and right. The nearly a dozen that are out now. Like the fact that Goro was in it and he died so quickly to essentially a complete no-name newcomer in the world of Mortal Kombat. I'm curious to know what they think of that. I'm curious to know what they think of some of the character decisions, or even the fact that they've alluded to this tournament and it didn't really happen. I don't know about you, Adam. I kind of was thinking the tournament was going to happen. I'm not disappointed it didn't. I get that it's all about collecting more people for it.
They alluded to the idea that Raiden pretty much forced the tournament by sending them all in different directions to fight people one-on-one.
Yeah.
His attitude was, and he said it, like, if they're not going to try to do the tournament, we'll force the tournament. And that's what I think what they were trying to do. So they won the tournament basically But we pretty much got told that that they're just gonna bring armies next. It wasn't like the 90s movie where each person got a secret scroll to go take part in this tournament. Instead of doing some sort of tournament with an arena and each person does a one-on-one fight, they gave everyone motivation, backstory, and why they wanted to fight each person, and then just Raiden sends them all to those places to fight them. Which I don't know why all the bad guys were scattered at that point to be able to do that with, but hey, that's I guess a little bit of nitpicking there.
Yeah, we're prone to doing that, and this film would absolutely, it's begging for it. This would be like a 6-part series if we were to nitpick this film, and that's not the point of what it exists to be. We get it. I totally understand, though. It's so tempting.
But ultimately, it was exactly what I wanted it to be, which was a fun action film with lots of gore and some references to Mortal Kombat, which is exactly kind of what I was wanting and expecting, and I got. So I'm not disappointed in this movie. I will watch it again, most likely. There are a lot of great movies that are Oscar-winning movies, and I watch them one time and go, yeah, don't ever see me watching that again. It was a good movie, but I don't ever see me watching that again. And then there are other movies that are just great popcorn flicks. They're like, you know what? I just want to watch some people beat each other up and some blood and violence. We'll watch that a few times, because it's a good escape. Doesn't have some sort of moral lesson that you're supposed to learn from it or anything. It doesn't try to make you feel guilty in any way. It's there to be entertaining and be an escape, and it succeeds in that.
I'd agree with you. And hopefully for those watching, we're the latter. We are the popcorn flick channel that you would watch again. Not the Oscar. We're certainly not Oscar worthy. I'll give you that.
My performances are only Razzie worthy. Thank you very much.
We're not Oscar worthy, but we may be Grammy worthy. That's it. Oh, I was waiting for that theme the entire film. By the way, I'm glad it delivered. I was so worried.
A little bit modified and everything, but yeah, that theme is more iconic than the movie is. What is your opinion? Did you enjoy this movie? Do you want to see more of them? Were there certain things that disappointed you? Certain things you really loved? Did watching Kano get speared in the eye by a garden gnome do it for you, or what? But let us know in your comments down below. And as always, like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll have more of these videos here coming up. And
as long as I remember to hit the record button.
This is true. This is Adam and Andrew with It Takes Two Takes.
Oh my God, it's the wrong thing. Imagine if I did this for Mortal Kombat. Where's my orchestral hit? Hang on. I'm editing this. Everybody calm down. My God. Oh, here it is. Got it.